Good evening, and I welcome you, students. A very important topic is on the screen. Chapter 14, natural resources, student. What do you mean by natural? What is this nature has given us? What resources nature has given? Resources given by the nature. What do you think are our resources given by the nature? You live on a land,
Yes, sir.
then what you are having? You are having water on the land. You are having an atmosphere, which is air. At least these three things are very well known to us. Why do we talk of natural resources, student? Important point is that we are living on planet Earth. Where are we? On planet Earth. And till date, the life is possible. Life exists to our knowledge, only on Earth. Right? What
Yes,
is the
sir.
reason? What is the reason? What is the reason that we have life on Earth? Because there are certain conditions which must be satisfied. What are the conditions for life to exist? What conditions do you think are necessary for life to exist? Can you exist at a very high temperature? Can
No,
you
sir.
live at a very low temperature?
No, sir.
If the temperature goes below 40, minus 60, then what will happen? We'll all freeze. So can we live without food? Can we
No,
live
sir.
without air, water, land where we are situated now? So conditions are there. Temperature, you have need water, you need air or whatever, atmosphere, all these things. And how do we get all these things? From where we are getting it? Earth is having all these. If I go to moon, we say life is not there on the moon because we don't have an atmosphere on the moon. And the temperature may not be right, student. And if there is a large variation in the temperature, what will happen? So there are basic requirements for any form of life to exist. And we are dependent on the resources. The resources has to be there for us to survive. And you are aware, student, the ultimate source of all life form is what? What is the ultimate source of all the life forms? What do you think? What is the ultimate source of all the life forms? Sun. Sun energy. You know, people are in our Hindu culture, we are worshipping the sun, God. Sun is our God. Why it is our God? You are watering, giving water to the sun. Sun shines. If sun doesn't shine, what will happen? What will happen? So this is important, that it is a most important ultimate source of energy of whatever is happening on the planet Earth. And we have got home on the land. Our body, you are saying 75% water is there, and we need respiration or breathing. All these functions. Therefore, we can say that the resources on earth, basically land, water, air, are the nature's gift. Am I creating air?
No, sir.
I am contributing to that. I will show you that there are cycles which are going on. If man is not there, then that atmosphere also is in trouble, because that cycles cannot be there. We contribute to the gases which are there in the atmosphere. That's very important. In any place where the living organisms are not there, the atmosphere is also not there, because the atmosphere is also contributed by the living organisms. Are you contributing to the atmosphere? Yes or no? Are you giving anything to the air?
No, sir.
You are not giving. You are not breathing. Then if you are breathing, what you are releasing? Tell me.
Carbon dioxide.
If you are taking oxygen and you are releasing CO2, what is the function of CO2? Where it goes?
It is used by plants.
So then plants do photosynthesis and then plant give oxygen. So every living organism you will find, every living species is contributing to the atmosphere also, which you have. You will study nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, water cycle, phosphorus, all elements cycle is going on. Who is creating the cycle? How the cycle is created? How the soil bacteria are there inside that? What they are doing? There is a role of everything. The species, the living species, you have seen different type of living species. All are contributing to make the life possible. You will see that there are chains, student. There are chains, food chains, web chains, and if chains are broken, what will happen? If you will take few of them out, then life also is disturbed. Therefore, students, the existence of living things and natural resources are the two important points. There is a strong relationship between that. What I am trying to say, let us see. First question to us, when we talk of we are lucky, we are important. Why? Because we are on planet Earth. Our planet Earth is the only one on which as life we know exists. Life on Earth is dependent on many factors. Our life depends on many factors. Just like we mentioned, there should be ambient temperature. Proper temperature should be there. It should not be very high, it should not be very low. What we call as a ambient temperature. We should have water, we should have food, we should have, we are saying, air or atmosphere. Beyond that, we will see many. The resources available on Earth and the energy is coming from where? Without energy, there can be no life. Energy is the most important thing. And the basic need of energy, sun, the ultimate source of all the energy which we experience. Basically, if I know about the solar system, are we part of the solar system, student?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the solar system? How many planets are there?
8.
They are revolving around the sun.
Yes, sir.
And what about Earth is a rocky planet that revolves around the sun in the third orbit. Earth is present in the third orbit. Third orbit. After Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus. It is located at a distance from the sun, which provides it just right temperature to harbor liquid water on its surface. Important point is the distance of Earth from the sun. You have a sun and you have a Earth. The distance is very important. What is the importance of distance? Because the sun is a source of energy. So the temperature is right. Right temperature. So that what you have? Liquid water. If you don't have liquid water, what will happen? Tell me. If everything freezes, what will happen? Then there's no liquid, it is solid ice form. And if it evaporates, what will happen? Then it's in the gas form.
Yes, sir.
Will the life exist?
No, sir.
In my body, 75% is water. If it becomes ice in my body, what will happen? Will there be circulation of the blood?
No, sir.
So it has an atmosphere that contains nitrogen and oxygen in the majority. The atmosphere contains nitrogen, oxygen, and few more gases. We'll see that. That is the importance of the earth. So we understand some importance about the planet Earth, student. Okay. The video recordings will be available. They are going to be very important because we have plenty of information which is beyond the book. And you will get more and more material which will help you for higher classes as well as for more knowledge and learning the basics, what is happening around you. What are these resources on Earth? When I say resources on Earth, there are certain physical material that we need to live on Earth. What are the physical needs, students? Such as land, air, and water are the three basic things which we need. Resources are characterized as renewable or non-renewable. We'll explain all these things in more detail. Renewable source can replenish. When I say it is a renewable source, that means it can replenish, student. There is a, there is a rate at which we are using the things, rate of use and rate of what we think, replenishing or producing. So there should be balance of these rates. If you use at a faster rate and you cannot produce at the same rate, what will happen? There will be depletion. And non-renewable source, they are going to exhaust, already exhausting, you know about them. We will explain to them more. And they are saying save them, conserve them because they are getting depleted. Okay, all right. Certain terms which we already know, natural resources, student. Nature resource is something that is found in nature. What nature has given us? Tell me. Nature, what is nature? You are saying, oh, sun energy is there, I can use it. Okay. Light is coming from the sun. Air is there. Air is a gift of the nature. Water is there. Plants are there. Animals are there. Soil is there. Stone is there. Minerals, fossil, all these are already available in the nature. These are the natural resources. Then, number one. Number two, man-made resources. What man is doing? Man is creating resources to transform the gifts of nature, buildings, roads, vehicles, machinery, equipment, all this man is making. Medicines, drugs, pharmaceutical, vaccines, all these man is making. Man-made resources are also very important. Biotic resources. What do you mean by bio? What is the meaning of bio? Life, which has a life, student. These are obtained from biosphere. They have a life. Something which has a life is biotic. Something which is non-living is abiotic. Biotic and abiotic, we have heard these words, such as human beings, flora, fauna, fisheries, livestock, animals, even we are using. Cow milk you are taking, students. Goat milk, all, so many animals, biotic resources are there. Fishes and all that. Then abiotic resources, non-living things. What are the Abiotic resources, you are saying you have minerals. Minerals, where are minerals in your country? You are saying they are under the earth crust, or they are under the sea also. So you have rocks, minerals, abiotic resources. Sea water itself is a source of many important compounds. You know about it. Further definitions which we are talking: non-renewable sources that are once used can't be reproduced or replenished. If I burn coal, can it come back?
No, sir.
Biomass, gas, I burn the gas, it is gone. So fossil fuels, minerals like copper, iron, what if I keep on using all the copper, all the iron, what will happen then? Will it be there? Can I make the iron again? No,
No,
it's
sir.
all non-renewable resources. So you keep on using as much as possible. उनके डब्बे बना दो, जाओ सारा देश में, और सब घरों में डब्बे जाते जाएंगे. क्या होगा एक दिन? Then it will vanish and may not be able to fulfill your needs. That's why it is becoming very costly. फिर क्या करें? Renewable sources, they can be reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical processes. Physical process, chemical process, mechanical. What type of solar energy and wind energy is nowadays in great demand, and your country is using also. A lot of countries are using, wind power, solar power. A lot of electricity is generated from this, and there's no deficiency of them. That will continue. Okay. What else you know? National resources. All resources which are present in the political boundary of a nation up to 12 nautical miles in the ocean from the coast. You have surrounded by oceans, and there are a lot of things in the oceans now. How much they are saying? 12 nautical miles. Such as there are minerals, water, resources, forests, wildlife, land, territorial water resources therein belong to the nation. Belong to the nation. 12 nautical miles they are saying. The sea, sea is a big thing. Coastal areas are being used. Further, what we are talking, student? Sustainable development. What do you mean by sustainable? You are doing some activities. You are creating energy from some sources. But if it start damaging the environment, what is happening? That is not a good sign. That is not. Already you are aware of the climate crisis. The temperature of Mother Earth is increasing. Carbon emission is increasing. You are seeing the effects of that. So sustainable development should take place without damaging the environment. And development in the present should not compromise with the needs of future generations. You are doing activities so much smoke you are throwing into the atmosphere, and so much environment you are disturbing, which is a threat to the human life. So this is a very important point. Now development should be sustainable, that we should not damage the environment. Whatever work you are doing, it should take place without damaging the environment. Do not damage the environment. How we are damaging the environment? We are going to study in this topic. Exhaust gases you are releasing, air pollution, water pollution, all this is happening. Industries are throwing garbage. The more goods we buy, the more garbage we create, we more throw it. What will happen to the garbage? One day your nation will have so much garbage, where you will throw it? You don't have a place to dispose of the garbage. What will happen? Heaps of garbage will be collected.
Yes, sir.
And then we will have to live with them. Already so much garbage is there in our country. You know about it. Can we recycle them? But recycle is not an easy process, because it will cost you energy. Everything will cost you energy. First you produce the good. Then you use it, student. Then you dispose it in the garbage. Production requires energy, disposal requires energy, and recycling also requires energy. So what is the use? What do we do then? Then is it a sustainable development? Then what is our logic? What we will do? Tell me, what will you do if I give this problem to you? What do you think? What we can do?
Sir, we should try to minimize generating garbages.
How will we minimize? Minimize
Sir,
the needs of the man.
yes, sir.
If everyone starts buying 10 times more, then there will be 100 times more garbage. You know how the things are coming online. Nowadays, people are ordering goods online, right? Every second you see in or around your home, some box is coming, right? This is
Yes, sir.
a normal procedure. And you open one box, inside there is another box, another wrapping. How much wrappings come? Small thing is wrapped 4-5 times before it is given to you by the delivery boy. Now, buying one thing and getting so much of material which is undesirable, unwanted, where it will go? It will go in the garbage. So what is happening, student? Now you are saying, oh, garbage should become such that it is biodegradable. Okay. Biodegradable is not a process which takes place in a small period of time. And where it will be biodegraded, everything will cost you energy, what I'm trying to say. So if we minimize our needs, student, essentials, there are two types of goods which you are buying, essentials and non-essentials. Essentials I cannot avoid, but non-essential I can reduce. And you know, most of the people are in this category. Non-essential goods. And this is one of the going to be a real problem. Now the work is done on sustainability. This is a big field now open for the coming generations. Sustainable products. Another thing is a resource conservation is required. What do you mean by conservation? You have natural resources, every country has, but how much you have? Limited. So we have to conserve them. If we don't consume them, what will happen? If you soil cultivation, what happens in soil cultivation? It will use the nutrients. And if you overuse it, what will be the result of that? Then the soil will become useless. You have water, you keep on using water, but how much pure natural water you have? There is already a shortage of water in every country. It's a very important problem. So natural utilization of natural resources, we have to, it refers to sustainability utilization such as soil, water, plants, animals, minerals, topsoil, pasture and minerals, preservation of forest, watershed areas, etc. You have forests, you have flora, fauna. If you will destroy them, what will happen? All this is already happening. Construction work is going on. So these are all important points that we should try to conserve our resources for the future generations. And these resources will deplete, the life will become difficult and is a serious threat to the future life of the future generations. Already it is happening. So these are some of the important definitions, student. Something more is coming. Wasteland. What is a wasteland? Land which is not suitable for cultivation. You know, in our country also, there is a lot of wasteland that is not suitable for cultivation. In many countries, you have seen they have performed experiments where wastelands are being converted into lands where they can grow plants. You know which country is doing that? You have any idea? Even
No,
on there, now in deserts also they are having plantation. Israel, I've seen in the news sometimes that they are using certain techniques to use their land, grow. Countries which have lands which are of no use, they are trying to convert it into cultivation. So, what is a pasture? Land which is covered with grass and other plants that makes suitable for grazing animal. Animals also, you have to survive animals. Animals do grazing. So you have to have some land for them, which should be covered with grass. How will those animals live? How you will get cow milk then? Tell me. All this cows, goats, so much. So pasture land. Another problem is soil erosion. What is happening to the soil? What is soil erosion? The soil has many layers. The top soil is a fertile soil, student. Natural, what is happening? The washing away of the top fertile soil. How it is washed away? Floods are coming, winds are blowing, there are glaciers. So what will happen? There are natural agents like wind, glacier, and water. They will can cause soil erosion. The top fertile soil will be carried away. Nutrients are not there, then what you will grow in them? Already so much soil erosion is taking place. Note down everything. Very, very valuable informations are being provided. Note down everything. The next question is coming in the exam, student. What is a biosphere? Biosphere is there. What do you mean by bio? From Greece, bios. Bio is related. When I say bio, you are saying it is life. And there is a sphere of life. Planet Earth. What do you have? Land, water, atmosphere, which we are saying air. Where the life exists, where the bio is there. Layer of the planet Earth, where life exists. Layer of the planet Earth. So which layer of the planet Earth life exists? That is called the biosphere. There is a sphere. The biosphere is one of the four layers that surround the Earth along with. What is a lithosphere? Lithosphere. What is lithosphere, students? That land, rocky land, which is there. Okay? Litho means rock, land. There is a hydrosphere, student. What is that? Water. On Earth, you have a hydrosphere, water is there. And then another one is atmosphere. Okay? Atmosphere is there. What is your atmosphere? You have air. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So you have how many spheres are there? So Earth is one of the four layers. Okay? So three things are there here. Lithosphere is there, hydrosphere is, atmosphere is there. If I add these three, students, this is called an ecosystem. Ecosystem. There is an ecosystem. So the biosphere consists of how many components I have talked of? Lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. However, not all of them have living things thriving or inhabiting them. The portion where life is found and sustained are the only ones regarded as a part of the biosphere. Biosphere is that part, student. These are interacting. These three parts are interacting at one part where the life is existing. That is what we call as a biosphere. So you have air, I have water, I have land, and at that point we are living. Organisms are living. So then that is our biosphere. Wherever these three parts are interacting, biosphere is there. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In other words, living things constitute the biotic component of the biosphere. When I say biotic component, biosphere, we have seen lithosphere, air, hydrosphere. The biotic component is that where living things are there. Living things are existing in this part. And what are the abiotic component? What are the non-living part things? Is air is living?
No, sir.
Water is living?
No, sir.
Okay. The soil. So there are abiotic parts. So two components we see, two parts are there. One is biotic and other is abiotic. And they are having a role in sustaining life on Earth. Both of these, biotic and abiotic, they have role in sustaining life on Earth. How the life will sustain on Earth? We are going to need biotic as well as abiotic components. Both are required. Both are required. Okay. Very good. Interesting. What is the breath of life? The breath of life? Air. Air is the breath of life. I'm breathing. If I don't breathe, what will happen? 3-4 minutes I don't breathe. I am not longer there then. Will I exist or die?
No, sir.
I will die. So the breath of life air. What is the air, student? We have read earlier also. Invisible mixture of several gases. In the air you have many gases, student. You have water vapor also. And even you have some other impurities, dust particles and so many other particles are there. So many, some bacteria or other organisms, everything is there in the air also. My God. Everything will do its own work. It's not that. Even the small particles play their role, student. Nothing is without purpose. Nothing is without purpose. Living and non-living, all abiotic and biotic component, all will be used by us for living on Earth. Interesting. Don't think there is anything useless. Everything is required. All those fungi and all decomposer, everything will be needed. Okay. The mixture of gases, air is what is the composition of air? How much nitrogen?
78%.
Oxygen?
21%.
Carbon dioxide?
0.3%.
And other trace gases?
0.7%.
And greenhouse gases? Air is made up of atoms and molecules. Okay. All these will contribute, student, to the atmosphere. It is not only breathing which we do with the air. We do something more with that. What do you do more with the air? Tell me. Besides breathing, are you doing anything else? Every question is important. Understanding is very important. Okay, student, let me have boiled water or say water heal me. Sip water. Okay. This topic is very important, interesting. Every lecture will be very important, interesting. After the video recording, you can listen how much information is there in these lectures, and they will be useful to you everywhere. Anytime in life you can listen to them. They're very, very informative. Yeah, your parents can also listen. Very important point. Now what is happening? Air is called the breath of life. Why air is called the breath of life, student? This was a question. Why air is called breath of life, student? It contains all the necessary gases that are required for the survival of life on palms of the planet Earth. All gases are there which are necessary for the survival. Not one gas is saying. It is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, argon. Oxygen is required for respiration and burning. Interesting. Not only, burning is a very important activity. You are aware of burning, combustion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that also needs oxygen gas. And where we get oxygen gas? From the air. All right. So much uses are there. We're learning little bit. Is air important for living things? Question. Air is important for living things. Breathing is a part of process called respiration. During respiration, living thing takes in oxygen from air and gives out carbon dioxide. This process gives animals and plants the energy to eat, grow, and live life. Is it true?
Yes, sir.
So very important. Therefore, air is important for all the living things. What are the important uses of air? Question. If question is given like this, what are important uses of air? Sustain life growth, combustion, maintaining temperature, supplier of energy, photosynthesis. So many points are there. Interesting. It will sustain life and growth. Combustion. Can combustion take place without air? No. Temperature is important. If temperature becomes very too much, then what will happen? The life will be seriously threatened. A lot of people, die if it is very, very cold. You have seen where everything is freezing, people die. And when temperature becomes very, very hot, you have seen that's extreme cold and extreme hot conditions are very difficult to survive. And energy supply of student. Supply of energy is very important. Nothing works without energy. A photosynthesis will not take place. What will happen? Tell me. Will there be life?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So another question is asked to the students. Why oxygen is so important? Tell me why oxygen is so important, students? What do you think?
Sir, because it helps in respiration.
Okay, what is respiration? Ultimately, same question is coming. Only respiration, something more than that, students?
Sir, something more than that.
What is that? See, more and more information we are providing. What is that? Dekho, question. When we give lectures on the basis of question answer, students love it more, they enjoy it. Most living things need oxygen to survive. Oxygen helps organism grow, reproduce, and turn food into energy. What is happening? The food is turned into energy. For this, you need oxygen gas. Very important point. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Humans get oxygen they need by breathing through their nose and mouth into their lungs. Oxygen gives our cells. What happens when you inhale oxygen? Then inside the cells, what is happening, student? ability to break down food in order to get energy. So what is happening then? This food is broken down into energy. Okay? And energy is what you need to survive. And as you see, eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. What is the difference between eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells, students?
Sir, eukaryotic cells consist of well-developed they consist of well-developed plasma membrane along with all the other cell components, whereas prokaryotic cell lack a plasma membrane.
So one was called primitive, other is called advanced, as we studied in the topics. When we write a word, try to understand it, it helps us because we have discussed this in which chapter?
In chapter cell.
What was the name of the chapter?
Fundamental unit of life.
Fundamental unit of life. Student, we discussed. Fundamental unit of life is?
Cell.
Cell. Okay. Need, okay, a cell and many discuss need oxygen to, they need oxygen to break down glucose molecules and get energy for their activity. The cells are doing, there are functions of the cell, okay? Functions of the cells. And in order to do their function or activities, they need energy. Where they get energy from? By breaking the glucose into, glucose gets glucose molecules and get energy for their activity. They will break down the glucose and will get what they will get? Energy. And they will release carbon dioxide. Another process which results in consumption of oxygen and contaminant production of carbon dioxide is combustion. Another process which is happening is combustion. You know, so much combustion is taking place.
Yes,
and
sir.
Oxygen will be required. This includes not just human activities which burn fuels to get energy, but also forest fires. So much you have heard about human, human needs is one thing, but there is something more you watch in the news a lot. Human activities and natural fires, you know about that. Which fires? Forest fires, you know, lot of forest fires. In which country you see lot of forest fires? Do you know?
Sir, in Amazon forest.
And beyond that, in USA, you see in the news so many times how much fires are there. And you know, fire, people fight a lot for that. Every time you see in the news. In so many countries, you see fires, forest fires, continues. Combustion is taking place. So they burn fuels to get energy. And forest fires are also examples of that which are going on in the nature. A question was asked to the students. What question was asked? What are the two ways by which carbon dioxide is fixed in nature? You are heard about CO2 fixation? This is a very important thing, student. Air has got oxygen, nitrogen, but small percentage of CO2, which we have told you. How much percentage of CO2 we gave you? 0.03%.
Yes, sir.
Now, if the amount of CO2 becomes very large, then again, you know the problem. Heating of the planet Earth and already facing excess carbon emission. But how the CO2 is fixed? Carbon dioxide is fixed, student, by which process? What is the process? Question. By which the carbon dioxide is fixed in nature. What is your answer, students?
Sir, when we exhale, we release CO2.
Green plants through photosynthesis convert carbon dioxide to glucose in the presence of sunlight. This is a consumption of the CO2. Many marine animals use carbonates dissolved in sea water to form their shells. You have seen वो सिपिया cells देखे हैं तुमने बहुत सारे शंख समुद्र के अंदर आपने देखे मैरीन वो एनिमल्स जो हैं shells. तो what are they? They use carbonates dissolved in sea water. तो sea water में carbonates जो होते हैं they will form their shells. What they form shell, right? So ये important points हैं because if excess of CO2 is there will be problem. We are releasing, but green plants are using, and also marine animals are using it. Carbonates which are dissolved in seawater to form their shells. So not even the composition of air is the result of life on earth. This is very important question. Is the composition of air, ठीक है, air on earth result of life on earth? What is your answer? What is your answer, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes. As you have seen how the cycles are going on. These are the activities. Whatever we are doing, we are breathing oxygen, giving CO2, and then CO2 is being taken by the plants for photosynthesis and forming the shells in the seawater by the marine animals. So life is there which is doing and fixing the composition of the air. If anything becomes more or less, again balance is disturbed. Okay. And students, question number 1, answer number 1. Question number 2 is coming on the screen. Why no life exists on Venus and Mars? You know, there are Venus and Mars planet. Why there is no life? Student, what is your answer coming?
Because the various conditions necessary for life is not present on these planets.
Actually, on Venus and Mars, the major component of atmosphere is found to be मतलब find किया गया found to be CO2, carbon dioxide, which is how much? 95 to 97%. Got it?
Yes, sir.
How much CO2 we are saying? We have fixed the amount, 0.03%. And if such is the composition of the atmosphere, what will happen? Can life exist in so much of CO2?
No, sir.
So then that is a reason. Why we question answer? Because we may be knowing a lot of answers, but when we write the answers in the exam, some problem comes with the students. We don't need to write things which are not required. Write less, write correct, and be specific. And when we talk of science, we should be knowing what we are writing. General answers are different, and scientifically we have to give the answers, correct answers. So this ends up the first introductory lecture of natural resources. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture and understood the meaning of natural resources, biosystem, the life on planet Earth, and how air is the breath of life and how the CO2 is fixed in nature. And then we will meet you in the next class, students. Continue to share our videos with your friends and ask them to subscribe the channel, because plenty of important information will be provided, which will be useful not only for this class, but for any class anywhere, wherever you go. Okay, bye bye. See you next time.
Thank you, sir.